We all navigate a world brimming with distractions, temptations whispering promises of fleeting pleasure, and societal pressures that often lead us astray. It's a landscape where vices, those ingrained patterns of behavior that hinder our growth and diminish our potential, seem to lurk around every corner, threatening to consume us. From the insidious allure of instant gratification to the numbing comfort of addictive substances, these vices hold us back from realizing our truest selves and living lives of purpose and fulfillment. But there is hope. Within the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy emphasizing virtue, reason, and self-control, we discover a powerful path to true freedom and self-mastery, a roadmap for conquering our inner demons and nurturing the seeds of virtue within. Stoicism doesn't shy away from acknowledging the challenges we face, rather, it provides practical tools and philosophical insights to confront them head-on, empowering us to break free from the chains of vice and embrace a life of meaning, resilience, and lasting happiness. This isn't about unattainable perfection, but about progress, about striving to become better versions of ourselves each day. It's about recognizing the power we possess to shape our own destinies, to choose virtue over vice, and to live in accordance with our highest values. In essence, Stoicism offers a transformative framework for understanding and overcoming the internal battles we all face, guiding us towards a life of self-mastery and genuine fulfillment. Think of it as a personal training program for the soul, designed to strengthen our inner resolve and equip us with the mental fortitude needed to resist temptation and pursue virtue with unwavering determination. In today's world, where instant gratification and external validation are often prioritized over intrinsic values and self-discipline, the teachings of Stoicism are more relevant than ever. By embracing these principles, we can cultivate a sense of inner peace and resilience that allows us to navigate the challenges of modern life with grace and wisdom, avoiding the pitfalls of vice and embracing the path of virtue. Consider the ancient Roman philosopher Seneca, who, despite his privileged background and proximity to power, understood the corrosive nature of vice and the importance of self-control. He wrote extensively on the subject, offering practical advice on how to resist temptation, cultivate virtue, and live a life of purpose. His words resonate with us even today, reminding us that the struggle against vice is a universal and timeless human endeavor. In a world filled with distractions and temptations, it's easy to lose ourselves to vices that hold us back from living our best lives, but fear not, for in the timeless wisdom of Stoicism we discover the path to true freedom and self-mastery. In the realm of Stoicism, addiction or vice is considered a pattern of behavior that not only contradicts moral principles but also deeply harms the individual who adopts it. It manifests as an affliction of the soul leaning towards irrational desires, distorting judgment and casting shadows of. Stoicism views addiction, or vice, as far more than a mere behavioral problem. It perceives it as a profound affliction of the soul, a deep-seated imbalance that warps our judgment, fuels irrational desires, and casts long shadows of suffering across our inner landscape. This perspective emphasizes the internal nature of the struggle, highlighting the importance of addressing the root causes of vice rather than simply focusing on the outward symptoms. It's like treating a disease at its source rather than just masking the symptoms. Stoics believe that true freedom comes from mastering our desires, not being enslaved by them. When we succumb to vice, we relinquish control over our lives, becoming puppets of our impulses and losing sight of our higher purpose. This loss of control not only harms ourselves but also damages our relationships and our ability to contribute to the greater good. Therefore, the pursuit of virtue is not merely a personal quest, it's a moral imperative that benefits both ourselves and society as a whole. Think of the artist who allows their creative passion to devolve into an obsessive pursuit of fame and recognition. They may achieve fleeting success, but they ultimately sacrifice their artistic integrity and their inner peace. Their initial love for the craft becomes twisted by vanity and the desire for external validation, leading to disillusionment and unhappiness. This is a clear example of how a virtue, when taken to an extreme and distorted by vice, can become a source of suffering. Stoicism encourages us to maintain a balanced perspective, to cultivate our talents and passions without allowing them to consume us or compromise our values. Suffering over inner tranquility and personal serenity, vanity, sexual addiction, anger, fear, lust, greed, gluttony, and dependencies are concrete examples of vices we can all recognize. In this video, I will share 10 Stoic recommendations to challenge the dominance of vices and nurture virtue within us. Number 1. Know yourself. Facing challenges without deep self-understanding is difficult. Taking a moment to reflect carefully on our weaknesses and vicious tendencies is the starting point. Our inner self holds the consciousness of these aspects, and the list of vices is long and varied, encompassing everything from blatant addictions like substance abuse to more subtle and insidious tendencies like vanity, envy, and procrastination. What they all share is the power to undermine our well-being, distort our judgment, and prevent us from living in accordance with virtue. These are not simply external threats to be avoided, they are internal weaknesses to be overcome. The Stoics recognized that the first step in conquering vice is self-awareness, a deep and honest understanding of our own flaws and tendencies. This requires introspection, a willingness to confront our own shortcomings without judgment or defensiveness. It's like holding a mirror up to our souls and acknowledging what we see, both the good and the bad. Without this self-awareness, we are blind to the dangers that lurk within, making it impossible to effectively combat them. Imagine a general preparing for battle. They would need to thoroughly understand the strengths and weaknesses of their own army, as well as the terrain and the tactics of the enemy. Similarly, in the battle against vice, we must first understand our own vulnerabilities and the specific triggers that lead us astray. This requires a deep and honest self-assessment, a willingness to confront our own shortcomings without flinching. This process can be uncomfortable, even painful, but it is essential for laying the foundation for lasting change. It's about acknowledging our imperfections and accepting ourselves as we are, while simultaneously striving to become better versions of ourselves. Feelings reveal the roots of our disturbances and dissatisfactions: greed, uncontrolled passion, gluttony, irritation, self-indulgence. Recognizing these forces and gaining clarity about what we wish to confront is a crucial step. This self-awareness empowers us to challenge harmful patterns and gradually transform them into virtues. Self-awareness is the key that enables us to make decisions aligned with the serene and meaningful life. Remember, all progress begins with identifying areas in need of transformation in each step. Our emotions serve as valuable indicators, revealing the hidden roots of our inner disturbances and dissatisfactions. Feelings of greed, uncontrolled passion, gluttony, irritation, and self-indulgence are all signals that we are straying from the path of virtue and succumbing to the influence of vice. By paying attention to these emotions, we can gain valuable insights into our own weaknesses and identify the specific areas that need our attention. For instance, if we consistently feel envious of others, it may indicate a lack of self-esteem or an unhealthy obsession with material possessions. If we are constantly irritable and prone to anger, it may suggest a lack of self-control or an inability to cope with stress. By recognizing these patterns, we can begin to address the underlying issues and cultivate more virtuous habits. This process requires honesty and self-compassion. We must be willing to acknowledge our negative emotions without judgment or self-condemnation. It's about understanding that we are all imperfect beings, prone to making mistakes. The key is to learn from our experiences and strive to do better in the future. Think of it as learning to read the weather patterns of your own soul. Just as a meteorologist uses instruments to predict the weather, we can use our emotions to understand the inner climate of our being. By paying attention to the warning signs, we can take proactive steps to avoid the storms of vice and cultivate the sunshine of virtue. Towards self-mastery brings us closer to the greatness within us. Number 2. Find your inner motivation. Reflect on the precious reasons that inspire you to leave vices behind. The pursuit of happiness is central, but each of us will have equally important personal motives: saving money, taking care of health, improving relationships. Keep these motivations always in sight, especially in difficult moments. Remember that these objectives are incomparably more valuable and rewarding than the vices that held you. They are the treasures. Beyond self-awareness, the second crucial step is to uncover and cultivate our inner motivation, the driving force that propels us towards virtue and away from the allure of vice. While the pursuit of happiness is a universal human aspiration, each of us possesses unique and deeply personal reasons for wanting to break free from harmful patterns. These motivations might include saving money for a future goal, taking care of our physical and mental health, improving our relationships with loved ones, or pursuing a passion that brings us joy and fulfillment. Whatever they may be, it's essential to identify and keep these motivations constantly in sight, especially during moments of weakness when the temptation to succumb to vice is strongest. These objectives are incomparably more valuable and rewarding than the fleeting pleasures offered by vice. They are the treasures that guide our steps towards a richer, more fulfilling life. Imagine a mountain climber preparing for a challenging ascent. They wouldn't simply embark on the climb without a clear goal in mind. They would have a vision of reaching the summit, of experiencing the breathtaking view from the top, and of the sense of accomplishment that would come with conquering the mountain. This vision would serve as their inner motivation, driving them forward even when faced with exhaustion, setbacks, and treacherous conditions. Similarly, in the journey of self-mastery, we must have a clear vision of the life we want to create, a life free from the chains of vice and filled with purpose, meaning, and joy. This vision will serve as our inner compass, guiding us through the darkest moments and inspiring us to persevere in the face of adversity. Guiding your steps towards a richer, more fulfilling life in the face of challenges. Your motivation will be the light leading you through shadows toward triumph over the obstacles you encounter. Number 3. Distance yourself from risky situations. If you've identified your vices and acknowledged your weaknesses and you're determined to overcome them, it's crucial to avoid scenarios that may lead you back to these harmful patterns. This may involve adjusting certain habits in your routine and modifying your environment to escape. Once we have identified our vices and cultivated our inner motivation, the third Stoic recommendation emphasizes the importance of proactively distancing ourselves from risky situations, those environments and circumstances that trigger our temptations and make it more likely that we will succumb to vice. This may involve adjusting certain habits in our daily routine, modifying our physical environment, and even reassessing our relationships with certain people. It's about creating a safety net around ourselves, minimizing the opportunities for temptation to arise and maximizing our chances of success. This journey demands courage and determination, but it's important to remember that every sacrifice we make on this path is worthwhile. Every time we consciously choose to distance ourselves from situations that trigger our vices, we are taking a significant step towards our own freedom and well-being. Think of a recovering alcoholic who knows that going to a bar will put them at risk of relapse. They would wisely choose to avoid bars altogether, at least in the early stages of their recovery. This doesn't mean that they are weak or that they are giving up on life. It simply means that they are being proactive in protecting themselves from temptation and maximizing their chances of long-term sobriety. Similarly, if we are struggling with procrastination, we might choose to create a dedicated workspace free from distractions, or to use website blockers to limit our access to social media. These are not signs of weakness, but rather strategic steps to create an environment that supports our goals and minimizes the temptation to procrastinate. Temptations. Remember, this journey demands courage and determination. However, always keep in mind that every sacrifice you make on this path is worthwhile. Every time you consciously choose to distance yourself from situations that trigger vices, you're approaching your own freedom and the well-being you seek. Each choice you make to avoid risk is a significant victory, shaping a brighter and more fulfilling future. Number 4. Distance yourself from the influence of those who encourage vices. Those who push us towards vices are not wishing us well. Building upon the principle of avoiding risky situations, the fourth Stoic recommendation stresses the critical need to distance ourselves from the influence of those who actively encourage our vices. These individuals, whether intentionally or unintentionally, are not acting in our best interests. When we genuinely care for someone, we want what is best for them, and the path of vice invariably leads to unhappiness and suffering. Therefore, someone who encourages us to indulge in harmful patterns is hindering our progress and contributing to our downfall. This can be a difficult and painful realization, especially if the individuals in question are friends or family members. However, it is essential to prioritize our own well-being and to recognize that sometimes, the most loving thing we can do is to create distance from those who are not supporting our growth. This doesn't necessarily mean cutting them out of our lives entirely, but it does mean setting clear boundaries and limiting our exposure to their negative influence. Think of a gardener who is trying to cultivate a healthy garden. They would carefully remove any weeds that are choking the growth of their plants. Similarly, in the garden of our lives, we must be willing to remove the weeds of negative influences that are hindering our progress towards virtue. This may involve having difficult conversations, setting boundaries, or even ending relationships that are no longer serving our best interests. It's about creating an environment that is conducive to growth and flourishing, and that requires making tough choices about who we allow into our inner circle. When we genuinely value someone, we want the best for them. The harmful leads to unhappiness. Therefore, someone who encourages us on this path isn't contributing to our highest good. In fact, they hinder our progress. As Seneca expressed, control over vices isn't just a step towards self-transformation, it's also a service to society and the world. When you choose good and virtue, you elevate yourself and positively impact those around you. Every step you take to free yourself from vices is a contribution to a healthier, harmonious world. While Seneca's powerful words remind us that controlling our vices is not merely a personal act of self-improvement, but a profound service to society and the world. When we choose virtue over vice, we not only elevate ourselves but also positively impact those around us, creating a ripple effect of goodness and inspiring others to follow suit. Every step we take to free ourselves from harmful patterns is a contribution to a healthier, more harmonious world. This perspective shifts the focus from self-centeredness to a broader sense of responsibility, highlighting the interconnectedness of all beings and the importance of living in accordance with our highest values. It's about recognizing that our actions have consequences, and that by choosing virtue, we can create a more positive and uplifting environment for everyone. Imagine a single act of kindness, such as helping a stranger in need. This small gesture can have a profound impact on the recipient, who may then be inspired to pay it forward and perform their own act of kindness. This creates a chain reaction of positivity that can spread throughout the community, making it a better place for everyone. Similarly, when we overcome our vices and embrace virtue, we become role models for others, demonstrating that change is possible and inspiring them to embark on their own journeys of self-improvement. Challenging this journey is also a service beyond yourself. Keep moving forward with confidence. Number 5. Set realistic and achievable goals. Establish targets that present a challenge yet remain within reach. They shouldn't be overly simplistic, nor should they seem unattainable. Strike a balance when setting goals. Recognize that overcoming vice requires dedication, but it's also crucial to believe you can achieve these objectives. A feeling of challenge should be present alongside the conviction that with effort and determination you can. Building on the foundations of self-awareness, motivation, and supportive environment, the fifth Stoic principle emphasizes the importance of setting realistic and achievable goals. Overcoming vice is a marathon, not a sprint, and it requires a strategic approach with clearly defined milestones along the way. These goals should present a challenge, pushing us outside of our comfort zones, yet remain within reach, fostering a sense of accomplishment and encouraging continued progress. Avoid setting goals that are either overly simplistic, leading to boredom and complacency, or seemingly unattainable, resulting in discouragement and despair. The key is to strike a balance, creating targets that require dedication and effort but also inspire a sense of possibility and self-belief. Recognize that overcoming vice requires a deep commitment to personal growth, but it also demands a realistic assessment of our own capabilities and limitations. A feeling of challenge should be present, igniting our passion and driving us forward, alongside the unwavering conviction that with sustained effort and determination, we can achieve our objectives. This combination of challenge and self-belief is what fuels remarkable victories on the journey of self-mastery. Imagine a weightlifter who is trying to increase their strength. They wouldn't attempt to lift an impossibly heavy weight on their first day. They would start with a weight that is challenging but manageable, gradually increasing the weight as they get stronger. This allows them to build their strength and confidence over time, avoiding injuries and discouragement. Similarly, in the journey of overcoming vice, we should start with small, achievable goals, gradually increasing the difficulty as we progress. This allows us to build momentum, maintain our motivation, and avoid feeling overwhelmed. Overcome these challenges. It's the combination of challenge and self-belief that leads to remarkable victories on this journey. Number 6. Embrace a gradual approach. If you are deeply entwined with a vice, initiate the process of change gradually. There's no need to abandon everything at once. Instead, set goals that evolve progressively, daily, weekly, or monthly, just as ants build a mountain grain by grain, as expressed by Marcus Aurelius. Virtue is not achieved overnight, it's the result of continuous effort in managing vices. The sixth Stoic recommendation, closely related to setting realistic goals, advocates for embracing a gradual approach. Particularly if we are deeply entwined with a vice, it's crucial to initiate the process of change incrementally, avoiding the temptation to abandon everything at once. This cold turkey approach can often lead to overwhelm, discouragement, and ultimately, relapse. Instead, focus on setting goals that evolve progressively, whether on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. Think of the analogy of ants building a mountain, grain by grain, as eloquently expressed by Marcus Aurelius. Just as they patiently and persistently accumulate small particles of earth, we too can achieve monumental progress by focusing on consistent, incremental improvements. Virtue is not achieved overnight, it is the culmination of continuous effort in managing our vices and cultivating positive habits. This principle emphasizes the importance of patience, persistence, and self-compassion. We must be willing to accept that setbacks are inevitable and that progress is rarely linear. The key is to maintain our focus on the long-term goal and to celebrate every small victory along the way. It's like learning to play a musical instrument. You wouldn't expect to become a virtuoso overnight. It takes years of dedicated practice, starting with the basics and gradually mastering more complex techniques. Similarly, in the journey of overcoming vice, we must be patient with ourselves, accepting that progress takes time and effort, and celebrating every milestone along the way. So remember that each step you take towards virtue is a significant achievement. Every small advancement, no matter how minor it seems, contributes to the construction of a mountain of self-discipline and personal growth. Stay focused and celebrate every progress, no matter how small, for each one brings you closer to the person you aspire to be. Number 7. Don't hesitate to seek help. No one is a solver of all problems. Sometimes the best choice is to seek support from others. Aside from finding the support you need, embracing the idea of gradual progress, it is important to understand that each step taken toward virtue is a significant accomplishment. Every small advancement, no matter how seemingly minor, contributes to the construction of a mountain of self-discipline and personal growth. This perspective encourages us to stay focused on the present moment, to celebrate our progress, and to avoid getting discouraged by the magnitude of the overall task. It's about recognizing that even the smallest efforts can have a cumulative effect, leading to remarkable transformations over time. Think of a runner training for a marathon. They wouldn't attempt to run the entire distance on their first day. They would start with shorter distances, gradually increasing their mileage as they get stronger. This allows them to build their endurance and confidence over time, avoiding injuries and discouragement. Similarly, in the journey of overcoming vice, we should celebrate every small victory, no matter how insignificant it may seem. This could be resisting a temptation, completing a task that we had been procrastinating on, or simply choosing to respond with kindness instead of anger. These small acts of virtue are the building blocks of a stronger, more resilient self. Recognizing that no one is an island, the seventh Stoic recommendation encourages us to not hesitate to seek help when needed. Sometimes, the best choice we can make is to acknowledge our limitations and reach out to others for support. Remember that many individuals have faced similar challenges, including the same vices you're struggling against. They have valuable experiences to share, whether they are friends, family, philosophers, or professionals. A variety of people are ready to offer assistance. When we seek help, we show courage and humility. There's no shame in it. In fact, it's a sign of strength to recognize when support is needed, and actively search for solutions. The connections you make and the knowledge you gain from sharing experiences can be powerful. Aside from the practical assistance they can offer, remember that many individuals have faced similar challenges, including the very vices you are struggling against. These individuals possess valuable experiences and insights that can provide guidance, encouragement, and hope. Whether they are trusted friends, supportive family members, wise philosophers, or qualified professionals, a variety of people are ready and willing to offer assistance. When we seek help, we demonstrate courage and humility, recognizing that we don't have all the answers and that we are not alone in our struggles. There is no shame in admitting our weaknesses and asking for support. In fact, it is a sign of strength to recognize when help is needed and to actively search for solutions. The connections we make and the knowledge we gain from sharing our experiences with others can be powerful tools on our journey to overcoming vice. Think of the countless individuals who have benefited from support groups like Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous. These groups provide a safe and supportive environment where people can share their experiences, offer encouragement, and hold each other accountable. Similarly, seeking guidance from a therapist, counselor, or spiritual advisor can provide valuable insights and strategies for overcoming vice. The key is to recognize that we don't have to go it alone and that there are people who care about us and want to help us succeed. Tools on your journey to overcoming vices. So remember, you're not alone on this journey, and help is available to propel you towards a brighter, more rewarding path. Number 8. Understand the distinction between fleeting pleasure and lasting fulfillment. As you reduce instances of stumbling into vices, you'll begin to notice a stark discrepancy between the momentary pleasure vices offer and the lasting satisfaction that comes from overcoming them through virtue. This satisfaction of liberation from vices carries a joy in emphasizing the contrast between fleeting pleasure and lasting fulfillment. The eighth Stoic principle encourages us to cultivate a deep understanding of the true nature of happiness. As we gradually reduce instances of succumbing to our vices, we will inevitably begin to notice a stark discrepancy between the momentary pleasure they offer and the enduring satisfaction that comes from overcoming them through virtuous actions. This satisfaction of liberation from vice carries a profound joy and serenity that far surpasses the short-lived gratification provided by harmful patterns. The true contentment that arises from conquering our inner demons is incomparably more enduring and rewarding than any fleeting pleasure. This principle challenges the common misconception that happiness is found in external sources or in indulging our desires. Instead, it suggests that true happiness lies in cultivating virtue, in living in accordance with our values, and in overcoming the obstacles that stand in our way. It's about recognizing that the pursuit of pleasure is often a trap, leading to a cycle of craving and dissatisfaction. In contrast, the pursuit of virtue leads to a sense of inner peace, self-respect, and lasting fulfillment. Think of the athlete who dedicates years of hard work and training to achieve a goal, such as winning a championship. The momentary pleasure of victory is fleeting, but the lasting satisfaction that comes from knowing they have given their all and achieved their full potential is far more profound and enduring. Similarly, in the journey of overcoming vice, we should focus on the long-term rewards of virtue rather than the short-term pleasures of indulgence. Serenity much deeper than the short-lived pleasure provided by vice is the true contentment in conquering them is incomparably more enduring and rewarding. Throughout this journey you'll realize that despite the challenges of resisting vices, the happiness gained from surpassing them is genuine and enduring. Always keep in mind that this inner transformation is an incredible achievement, shaping not just your present, but also your future. By choosing lasting satisfaction over momentary pleasure, you're paving the way. Throughout this transformative journey, you will undoubtedly realize that despite the inevitable challenges of resisting vices, the happiness gained from surpassing them is genuine and enduring. This realization serves as a powerful motivator, reinforcing our commitment to virtue and providing the strength to persevere through difficult moments. Always keep in mind that this inner transformation is an incredible achievement, shaping not only your present reality but also your future destiny. By consciously choosing lasting satisfaction over momentary pleasure, you are actively paving the way for a life of genuine fulfillment and lasting contentment. This principle emphasizes the importance of delayed gratification, of sacrificing immediate pleasures for the sake of long-term goals. It's about recognizing that true happiness is not about avoiding discomfort or indulging every whim, but about cultivating resilience, self-discipline, and a commitment to living in accordance with our values. It's like investing in our future selves, making choices today that will pay dividends in the years to come. Think of the student who sacrifices their social life to focus on their studies. They may miss out on some fun in the short term, but they are ultimately investing in their future career prospects and their long-term success. Similarly, in the journey of overcoming vice, we should be willing to make sacrifices in the present for the sake of a brighter, more fulfilling future. For a life of genuine fulfillment and contentment, keep this understanding close to your heart, as it will guide you through the most challenging moments, illuminating the path to victory over vices and the discovery of a truly meaningful life. Number 9. Reflect on the harm both you and others face when we engage in vices. It's common to downplay the negative impact they have on us and others. However, the truth is that vices leave a deep mark on our soul and pave the way for unhappiness. They suggest a considerable lack of self-esteem. As we keep this understanding close to your heart, as it will serve as a guiding light through the most challenging moments, illuminating the path to victory over vices and the discovery of a truly meaningful life. This inner compass, fueled by the knowledge that true happiness lies in virtue and not in indulgence, will provide the strength and resilience needed to overcome any obstacle. Shifting the focus from individual gratification to a broader perspective, the 9th Stoic principle encourages us to reflect on the harm that vices inflict, not only on ourselves but also on those around us. When we engage in harmful patterns, it's common to downplay or even deny the negative impact they have on our lives and the lives of others. However, the truth is that vices leave a deep and lasting mark on our soul, paving the way for unhappiness, anxiety, and a diminished sense of self-worth. They often stem from a considerable lack of self-esteem, as we engage in self-destructive behaviors that deny us the good we truly deserve. This principle challenges us to confront the reality of our actions and to acknowledge the pain that they cause, both to ourselves and to those we care about. It's about recognizing that our choices have consequences and that by engaging in vice, we are not only harming ourselves but also contributing to a cycle of negativity that affects everyone around us. Think of the addict who steals from their family to support their habit. Their actions not only harm themselves but also cause immense pain and suffering to their loved ones, eroding trust and damaging relationships. Similarly, even seemingly harmless vices like gossip or procrastination can have negative consequences for others, spreading negativity and hindering productivity. Harm ourselves by denying the good we deserve. Furthermore, the effects of vices inevitably extend to those around us. Acting benevolently towards yourself and others is essential. Instead of embracing harmful patterns, always seek what is good and virtuous. As Seneca expressed, mastering vices isn't just a step towards self-transformation, it's also a service to society and the world. When you choose good and virtue, you elevate yourself and positively impact those around you. Every step you take to free yourself from. Furthermore, the detrimental effects of vices inevitably extend beyond ourselves, impacting our relationships, our communities, and even society as a whole. Therefore, acting benevolently towards both yourself and others is essential. Instead of embracing harmful patterns, always seek what is good and virtuous, recognizing that this choice benefits not only yourself but also the world around you. Seneca's profound words once again remind us that mastering our vices is not merely a self-centered act of personal improvement but a vital service to society and the world. When we consciously choose good and virtue over vice, we elevate ourselves to a higher plane of existence, positively impacting everyone we encounter and inspiring others to follow a similar path. This principle emphasizes the importance of empathy, compassion, and a sense of responsibility towards others. It's about recognizing that our actions have ripple effects and that by choosing virtue, we can create a more positive and harmonious world for everyone. Think of the leader who chooses to act with integrity and compassion, even when faced with difficult decisions. Their actions not only benefit their organization but also inspire their employees to act with greater integrity and compassion. Similarly, when we overcome our vices and embrace virtue, we become role models for others, demonstrating that change is possible and inspiring them to embark on their own journeys of self-improvement. Every step you take to liberate yourself from vices is a significant contribution to a healthier, more harmonious world. While this transformative journey is undoubtedly challenging, it is also a profound service that extends far beyond yourself, positively impacting countless lives and contributing to a better future for all. As you navigate this path, keep moving forward with unwavering confidence, knowing that your efforts are making a difference. Finally, the 10th Stoic principle offers a crucial dose of realism and encouragement, reminding us to understand that this journey is extensive and inherently challenging. Breaking free from deeply ingrained vices is not a simple or quick task. These patterns are often deeply rooted in our habits, our beliefs, and even our identities. It's essential to accept that throughout this process, you may experience setbacks and take steps backward. This is not a sign of failure, but rather a natural and inevitable part of the journey. These falls are not to be feared, but rather to be embraced as opportunities for learning and growth. The crucial point is not to avoid falling altogether, but rather to refuse to give up when you do. Whenever necessary, regain your footing, rekindle the flame of determination, and continue the fight against these harmful patterns. Perseverance is the ultimate secret to success in this endeavor. If you maintain your commitment and refuse to give up, there will inevitably come a day when you have completely overcome these obstacles, achieving lasting freedom from the grip of vice. Each effort you make, every attempt to conquer your inner demons, is a valuable step towards ultimate victory. Believe wholeheartedly in your transformative potential, knowing that you possess the power to create a life of virtue, purpose, and lasting happiness. This principle emphasizes the importance of resilience, self-compassion, and a long-term perspective. We must be willing to forgive ourselves for our mistakes, to learn from our setbacks, and to keep moving forward with unwavering determination. It's like climbing a mountain. There will be times when we slip and fall, but the key is to dust ourselves off, learn from our mistakes, and continue climbing towards the summit. Similarly, in the journey of overcoming vice, we must be resilient in the face of adversity, self-compassionate when we stumble, and unwavering in our commitment to living a life of virtue. In summary, the 10 Stoic recommendations we've explored provide a comprehensive framework for challenging the dominance of vices and nurturing virtue within. These principles, rooted in ancient wisdom and proven through centuries of practice, offer a practical guide for navigating the complexities of human nature and achieving lasting self-mastery. From the initial step of self-awareness to the ultimate goal of perseverance, each recommendation builds upon the previous one, creating a holistic approach to personal transformation. By knowing ourselves, finding our inner motivation, avoiding risky situations and negative influences, setting realistic goals, embracing a gradual approach, seeking help when needed, understanding the difference between fleeting pleasure and lasting fulfillment, reflecting on the harm caused by vice, and recognizing the journey as an extensive and challenging process, we can effectively dismantle the power of vice and cultivate a life of virtue, purpose, and genuine happiness. The key is to embrace these principles not as rigid rules or unattainable ideals, but as guiding lights that illuminate the path towards self-improvement. It's about recognizing that the struggle against vice is a lifelong endeavor, requiring constant vigilance, self-reflection, and an unwavering commitment to living in accordance with our highest values. The Stoic approach is not about achieving perfection, but about making progress, about striving to become better versions of ourselves each day. It's about recognizing that we all possess the power to shape our own destinies, to choose virtue over vice, and to create a life of meaning, resilience, and lasting happiness. As we continue on this journey, let us remember the wisdom of the ancient Stoics, who faced immense challenges and adversity with unwavering courage and resilience. Let us draw inspiration from their example and strive to embody the Stoic virtues in our own lives, becoming beacons of light in a world that is often dark and uncertain. And finally, let us remember that the pursuit of self-mastery is not a selfish endeavor. By cultivating our own well-being, we are better able to contribute to the well-being of others, creating a ripple effect of positivity and compassion that extends throughout our communities and beyond. The core takeaways from this exploration are the importance of self-awareness, inner motivation, creating a supportive environment, setting realistic goals, embracing a gradual approach, seeking help when needed, understanding the nature of happiness, reflecting on the harm caused by vice, and persevering through setbacks. By internalizing these principles, we can effectively challenge the dominance of vice and cultivate a life of virtue, purpose, and lasting happiness. Remember that the power to transform your life lies within you. Embrace the Stoic path, and unlock your full potential for self-mastery and genuine fulfillment. Stoicism provides a timeless roadmap for navigating the complexities of human nature, guiding us towards a life of virtue, purpose, and enduring happiness.